My name is Bella Martin, and this is the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, and this is going to be our first interview for the Sparks program. And today we have with us Linda Vaughn. So we're just going to be asking Linda Vaughn a couple of questions that we have, and we're going to learn a little bit more about her because you've been such an influence to NASCAR and
to all racing.
To all racing, yeah, exactly. Okay, so the first question we have for you is, what is your full name?
Linda Faye Vaughn.
Linda Faye Vaughn, okay.
Yeah, my mother named me Linda Faye. Thank God she didn't name me Linda May.
Linda May, Linda May Vaughn. Okay, and then what is your date of birth and your place of birth?
There's three things you never ask a lady: how old she is, what kind of hair color she has, and does she fool around. I'm only teasing. My grandma taught me never ask a lady her age, but I'm quite proud of my age because I've gone through a lot of hard operations. I'm honored to be here, and I am 78 years old. August 14th, 1942. But when I go out in my Hurst Oldsmobile, I get flirted on by 35-year-olds, so that's pretty good.
Oh, look at you go. Okay. All right, and then how were you introduced to motorsports?
Well, I slipped off and went to a dirt race when I was about 7 years old. Having the white blonde hair that I have, I come home with Georgia red clay all in my hair, and my mother gave me a whipping because Sunday morning I had to go to church, so I had to wash my hair. And the next Saturday I did it again. The third Saturday, she went with me, and after that, she never whipped me anymore for going to the races, so she started going down and watching them with me. But I entered beauty contests. I thought it was very important to enter everything I could get into so I could learn and I could travel. So I entered Miss Atlanta Raceway contest, and I won it. And there was a lot of girls in it, and I won the Miss Congeniality, and I won the bathing suit competition, but I won the contest. Took my mother with me because I was underage, and I was chaperoned, and I think it was the right thing to do because, boy, howdy, you ever see those race drivers in their uniforms? They're handsome. But I was well secured down there. I really enjoyed being Miss Atlanta Raceway. They asked me to come to Daytona. So my first special event after winning Miss Atlanta Raceway, Queen of Speed, I got to come to be in the parade around the Daytona 500. It was a fabulous, fabulous parade. I rode in their official pace car, which was the Atlanta pace car. So it snowballed, and I met the people from Pure Oil. I entered their contest, so I became Miss Firebird. Yesterday I was talking with Richard and Bobby and Donnie Allison how I grew up with all of them because I was underage, and I took my mother with me as my chaperone, and she'd go with me to the races, and I always worked really hard to build a good personality with the racing families. So the wives were my friends, I made them my friends, and I never had any trouble. There was no jealousy because I wanted to represent the sport and be a lady because my mama was a lady. She taught me well, and I thought I was going to wear pretty costumes. I wasn't going to wear a bathing suit, so mother started making me pretty costumes. And when I rode in the Daytona the next year as Miss Firebird, I wore this red outfit, and we picked up chicken feathers and dipped them in red dye, and she made me a round feather. So I was Miss Firebird, and that's from there snowballed, and I met Mr. George Hurst and Wally Parks, and they asked me to be in their contest. 200 girls were in the Miss Hurst Golden Shifter contest. And I really, really worked hard, and Mother made me something very, very nice for the contest. And they did have a bathing suit competition in it, but the evening dress was different, and she made me a beautiful golden white dress because I knew that was Hurst's colors.
That's how
So
you win them.
that's how it all began professionally. I signed a contract with Hurst in 1966.
Awesome.
So I'm very honored to have worked there over 50-something years.
Wow, that's amazing. And so how old were you then when you were first chosen to be a race queen?
I already told you.
Yeah, well, you were,
1966 was my
but-
official contract.
Okay.
Age has nothing to do with it. Age is like music and racing.
Right.
There's no age limit to these beautiful cars in the museum here, especially these Hurst Oldsmobiles, and there's no age limit to good music. race rock. There's no age limit, so there's something for everybody. So I feel young at heart, and I'm still young, and I'm still single. Just thought I'd tell y'all that.
Single and looking.
I'm not necessarily looking, but I'm still...
Just messing. Okay. So, you said that you had been a dental technician.
Hygienist.
So, do you regret not doing that more?
I have no regrets.
No.
I told the doctors, I worked for two doctors, Dr. Amos and Dr. Julian, and their name was Gregory, and I went to them, I said, I have an opportunity to go on the road, start traveling to the races, and building up my reputation. I worked so hard. Have you ever stood in the pits with high heel shoes on for 14 and 18 hours? I worked so hard to bring some glamour to the industry and the sport. And when Mr. Hurst saw how hard I worked, he was very pleased. He signed a contract with me. And each year he would renew it, and I'd send Mother the turkey or the ham. It was great. Get off this age thing, girl.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm getting these questions.
What's your
like,
next question?
Okay, so you became better known than probably any race queen in history. So why do you think that is?
Hard work, loyalty, compassion. It's my passion. It is my passion. But to give a woman in this industry and sport a nice reputation and recognition and be appreciated. See, I'm not just a face out there. I work in marketing and advertising. That's what I want y'all all to hear. When you market a great product that works and you're working with the race drivers and their lives, you want to make sure things are safe. And I turned it into a business. And still today, I'm so honored to be in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. And they put me up there with my favorite driver in the world, Tony Stewart, and Dario, and all the guys. It's just been wonderful. But the ladies are getting well respected now, whereas when a certain group came on the scene 2 years ago, I got hundreds of letters saying, why are they showing their midriff? What can you do? And I said, well, I don't run that program, but I did suggest that they would wear a little nicer costumes because you have to appeal to the wives and the families. And it's not a sexual thing. It's a sexy thing, but it's not a sexual thing. When you advertise and promote, you want to have a lot of class. So I feel that's what I brought to the sport. And all my Hurstettes were all beautiful, but Mother made our costumes. She would match them with the cars, and she would really say, okay, do your bow. I do my bow. She just cut that a little bit shorter. That's just perfect. Because if you make your mama happy, you know you're going to make the ladies in the stands happy. So I turned it into a love affair with respect and honesty. I think all the wives, I remember Linda Petty used to say, somebody said something to her about me hanging around, and Linda says, I love Linda, and her name's Linda too, and Richard says, well, I don't get in trouble when I say Linda. But we became a family. It's a family, and loving. I mean, you can have breakfast with the guys in the morning, and you might be going to a funeral home at night. So this is a serious business.
Yeah.
It's glamorous, it's fast, it's sexy, but it's a very serious business. And Hurst developed the Hurst Jaws of Life. So if a driver got caught, they have him here at the Speedway, of course, in every Speedway, is they can reach in and pull the driver out and save his life. And then we invited the Department of Transportation to Daytona the following year, and we got them to buy the Hurst Jaws of Life. So it's still recognized today as the Jaws of Life. Certain things come from tragedy, unfortunately, but now we have the Hans device. It keeps you from getting your neck torn off or breaking your neck. What killed Earnhardt? I mean, it was a quick snap, but I knew he was dead because I've seen it before at Indy. And we've created nice, safe equipment, and I work with the industry, which is called SEMA. And all you guys out there and girls, I was the first girl in shop class. And my mama said, what in the heck are you doing shop class for? I said, it's all boys, Mother. But I was serious. I wanted to learn shop. And I was lighter and thinner then. When we built the car, they let me drive it. And I was quicker off the line, so I did a little drag racing. But it all went snowballs, hand in hand. There's women engineers that's worked on these cars with me. And these pace car programs were my ideas with George Hurst. The 72 Hurst's pace car is probably one of the finest and still is in my heart the best pace car ever built in America. It's got a big block 455 engine. How many girls know how big of the size of the engine? Girls get to know your boyfriend's cars. And the quality and the quantity. And we went from bottom of the sell list to second in the first 2 years of the pace car program because every one of them was sold instantly.
Wow.
And they're great collector's items. And we'll talk to Mr. Bruce Smith later on about his cars because he has both of these. And he's presented my mother's car over here, which is my car too, to the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. So the youth can see it and Grandma can see her car again.
That's awesome. So you would say that you took definitely a different approach.
Our
like, how would
business.
you explain to someone my age or to the youth in general for this new Sparks program, how they would get into becoming involved in NASCAR? If
Well, it's not necessarily NASCAR.
it's just the
It's all
whole
motorsports.
sport.
I
Yeah.
would look into SEMA, Specialty Equipment Manufacturing Association. They're a huge organization, and we have youth programs. I would look into the Roy Hill School of Driving. If you want to learn to drive and become acquainted with what works in the safety of racing, the safety of your own car that you're going to drive. And I like Ford came out with a program, and the Mustang is really, really high performance. Well, they recommend that the teenage gets to go to the driving school so they can learn how to shift
Yeah.
and properly brake. So it all goes hand in hand with a safety thing. I think the more you know about your car, whether it's mother, father, teenager, rock and roll, superstars, it doesn't matter. You learn your vehicle, and that's why Ford has done this, and I hope Chevy does it too, and Mopar. They got all these muscles back in Detroit now. You guys, this is the next generation. I can't wait to get in that Hellcat. You know, and here I am thinking a teenager again, but I love the industry and the sport,
Yeah.
and I think just about everybody falls in love with their first car. I did. My boyfriend asked me one time, he goes, "Do you love me or my 57 Chevy?" I looked at him and I said, "I'm going to slap you." I said, "I didn't go out with you because you got a 57 Chevy. I went out with you when you had a 56 Chevy." But I fell in love with the 57 Chevrolet.
Yeah.
And I had my first love affair with the car.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was the sexiest car, but I didn't know how to drive then. And he taught me, and the first thing I said, "This shifter's too loose." I went to Honest Charlie Speed Shop, paid $5 down, $5 a week, and paid off. I put a Hurst shifter in that car. Little did I know I was going to go to work for Hurst.
Right. You were
Little did I
obsessed with
know.
it before you
And he
even
still has
started.
that car,
Yeah.
and the Hurst shifter still works.
Yeah.
But it was a love affair.
Yeah.
And I was really good and fast off the line, so I got to drive that car. I'd love to have it back.
Aw, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
but it's no age limit, honey. There's no age limit to rock and roll music and racing and sports. And
I love that.
yeah,
I
because-
love that. I'm a firm believer in that too.
Yeah.
And
What
I
is
think
your favorite car?
my favorite car? Well, I will say I am a Toyota girl.
Well,
But
Toyota's
right
built
now I
some
have a
stuff.
Chevy.
Now you're
I have a
talking my
Chevy
language.
Malibu, but
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
See,
so-
see, keep it.
It's
not-
reliable.
it's not only reliable. It's made in America by America
Right?
for Americans.
so I actually found this interesting that you visited Vietnam with the Hurst Armed Forces Club.
Yeah, we had.
So why did you decide to do that? How did you decide to do that? And then how would you describe being in an active war zone?
Dangerous.
Yeah. In one word, summed up.
Dangerous, but pride, loyalty, passion.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was great.
Yeah.
We got shot at a few times, but I learned how, when you heard that, to duck. But we were well handled, and Mr. Hurst made sure of it. But all the guys that was in the service and the ladies, very few ladies at the time, but we'd put on armed forces shows, and Bob Hope asked me to go, so I went. And if I had to do it over again, I'd do it again. We took the Hurst Hemi under glass, and we made appearances on the USS Enterprise. We did a lot of things, but Mr. Hurst was a Navy man, and he wanted to give something back to the 55,000 that we lost over there, God bless their soul, before they passed away and stuff. They were fighting with pride for our country, so we went over there with a pride show.
That's
And
awesome.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I met General Vaughn, and it was just a great time of my life. And if I had to do it over again, I'd go. I have been invited to other war areas, but I won't go now because I feel that we shouldn't be there. So I did support our guys.
Yeah.
We had 116,000 on our mailing list. for the Hurst Armed Forces newsletter.
That's so cool.
So it kept the
Yeah.
guys and girls, and I got to meet General Vaughn. I can't believe it. I asked her if we were kissing cousins. But it was a dream that Mr. Hurst had. George Hurst was a loyal, loving American. He and Mr. Manchesky, he got injured, shot down years ago, and he put a lot back into saving people's lives, and that's what we wanted to do.
That's
And
awesome.
we started a blood bank. I mean, he did a lot of great things for the sport and for America. Well, we love America. We're Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the pride in there.
Yeah, there you go. Cheers to your water. Just kidding. Okay, so.
No, you're not.
Okay, so.
Are my eyes staying open?
Yes.
Am I running my mouth too much?
No. This is fun. I like this. We're just talking.
Give me an
Okay.
elbow.
There you go. Okay, at a
You
certain
keep that Malibu.
At a certain point, people started referring to you as the First Lady of Motorsports. So how did that come about, and how did you react to that title? We got it right here, too. So cool.
Graciously.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't want to cry. My makeup's already wet. I got stuck out in a rainstorm. It was presented to me at SEMA for SEMA Person of the Year by the industry and my peers. And my peers were Carol Shelby. My peers were Lee Iacocca. My peers were Mr. Hurst, NHRA, USAC, NASCAR, Mr. Holman. They all voted for me, and they gave me that title. I didn't have to compete for that. It was a gift. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was an honor.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. That's voted on by your peers. When Mario Andretti called me, he goes, "Well, Linda, this is Mario." I said, "Yeah, I know. My phone just melted in my hand." He goes, "Well, I got good news." He goes, "We're going to put you in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America." And that was lovely. It was. I cried a lot that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real honor. I just wish Mr. Bruce had been there with us. Rand was my assistant, was there with us, and my family, my nephews.
When you
and
got
nieces.
when
When
you
got inducted. So it was such an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it was,
awesome.
a
You
real
obviously
gift.
share such a passion and a love for the sport and the industry in general.
All of it.
Yeah. So,
Well, they asked me, "Linda, what
Yeah.
is your favorite type of racing? Because we want to give you an award for that." And I said to Ron Watson, I said, "Mr. Ron, there's no way I could choose one sport. I love NASCAR. I love drag racing. I love IndyCar racing, off-road racing, Formula One racing. I went all over the world with Mario. But I said, I just want to love it all, because I do. I can't choose one over the other." So that first year I turned one down. And then the big one came, and that was the win at large. It was the greatest honor of my life. I've never had anything so beautiful.
Aw, that's
I still cried, pinched myself. But you're voted on by your peers, and that's a real honor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were super close with Ron Watson then?
Oh, wonderful. I never missed a show. I worked every one of them with him. And my compliments to all the staff here and everybody, and the love. If you look around this room, this is a love room.
Yeah.
And Watson was the creator. I call him the Cecil B. DeMills of motorsports.
Aw. What would you say to him if he was still here today?
I love you, Ron.
Aw. That's awesome.
Still.
Yeah, still. Always and forever, right?
Yeah,
Aw,
absolutely.
That's sweet. But going back to the more of like your jobs and stuff like that, what was your favorite promotional job that you ever did?
You're looking at it.
Oh, right here.
The
Pride and
Indy,
joy.
the Indy 500 pace car program.
Okay, so what would you say is your proudest achievement that you've ever had?
One of my proudest achievements, of course, winning the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America was the top. That's my Academy Award. Now, behind me is a 1972 Hurst pace car, big block 455. I got to choose the driver of the pace car, and I went to the studio, and he was having fights with the studio, and I said to him, "James Garner, do you want to set this world on fire and drive our pace car at the Indy 500? And I said, and make these studios realize who they got, because they were fixing to cancel his show. He said, "Hell yes." I took Mother with me. Oh, Lord, I never got her out of the director's chair. And he was so thrilled and honored, because we had met and worked with James and Steve McQueen down at the off-road races in Mexico. And in fact, Steve drove the Baja Boot, and then We built another car that Garner drove, and there were Oldsmobiles, so we were thrilled to have the Oldsmobile company behind us. So we built the Hurst pace cars, the Hurst Olds pace cars, and I went through the dealers, and everybody ordered them. They were none not sold. They were all sold by the time that checkered flag dropped. That's how much people wanted them. But James drove it, and what an honor. He got a contract with the studio. Oldsmobile went from 7th up to 2nd in sales all over the world for muscle cars, and
Awesome.
we kicked butt and took notice.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite cars in the world, always will be. And I went to, we got the rental tires in here. I went to Goodyear and I got the pace car tires built, and Hurst shifters, of course, and the great leather and the paint. And this gold in these cars were specially designed by George Hurst himself. So we stockpiled that gold paint because I had a little accident in one of them, and I took credit for it when it wasn't me. Somebody was out with James, and he let him drive one. So friends are friends, so we took care of that. George Hurst, don't worry about it. We got plenty of these. They had parts all over the place, so we restored it. And as I know, I don't think any of the convertibles have been lost. So we'll ask Mr. Bruce about that, Bruce Smith. But these cars are like diamonds. I mean, they're jewels. You know, they call jewelry cars and cars jewelry. So I'd like to have a stable of these. It was probably my favorite promotion I've ever done in my life. It was the Hurst Olds 72. Big block, 455. My mother got in it and smoked the tires. And then the 79 over there was one of our pace cars, but we did 74 year. And that pace car was driven by the late, great Marty Robbins. And we had a concert before the 500. So both my drivers were great. And we set the world, I'm telling you. It was every dealer wanted us to come and make dealer shows. I went to all the dealerships afterwards because they'd have a pace car. I went to Allen, Cadillac, and Oldsmobile. I went all over the place. And every once in a while, James would show up, and the girls would go crazy. And, of course, Mr. Marty Robbins had a great voice, and he did a lot. And he contributed his money that he made at the concert to the Armed Forces Club. So what a great time.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah. And we made sure the different manufacturers were a part of it. You know, we used the Edelbrock manifolds, we used the Goodyear tires, we used people that helped us in return to market. So you want to learn marketing, and that's been that's my favorite part of the job, is marketing that product that works. So I'm a real American, guys. Nothing against if you have a Camry, go ahead, I'll race you. But I have a Chevy SS, and every time I get up on the freeway, these guys will come up on me, what is that? I go, it's a Chevy. No, what is that? It's an SS. Was it a Malibu or an Impala? I said, no, it's an SS. It's NASCAR designed SS.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I still have love affairs with cars. Since I'm single and I have a dog, that's it.
You still racing on the freeway?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit here and there. Okay, so how would you say that the sport has changed since you started?
I can't say.
All right, that's fine. We don't have
It's
to answer.
diversified.
Yeah.
With this corona, the virus, it's just hurt us so much. I mean, going to the Indy 500 and being on the outside looking in broke my heart. So I spent some time with my friends, and I cried the whole day. It's been heartbreaking, but we got to build our pride back in and get it well and take care. And don't forget where you come from. Go back to basics and have pride in what you build and what you drive and safety. And I hope it brings us closer together, but it's really sad. It's really hard to not be able to go into the garage area here at Daytona, you know, although I have a hard card from Mr. France for the rest of my life for my contribution to working with the manufacturers and everything. And it's heartbreaking, but the guys are doing a great job. And I saw a few of them yesterday, and I've heard from a few of them. So they miss me, and I miss them.
Aww.
But I think we need to band together and keep the faith. Keep your faith. Have faith in America. Have faith in your God, and have faith in your cars.
Your cards. Okay.
I have faith in them sometimes when I get pop on those Brembo brakes and they don't stop quick enough.
Oh, God, yeah.
But keep the faith.
Yeah.
Keep the faith.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep that Malibu.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm keeping up with it. You'd be
Keep it
proud.
painted nice.
Yeah,
Take care of it.
So I already asked that. Let's see.
Just quit that.
I know,
What do
I'm
you
like,
want to
oh,
know?
okay,
Ask me what you want to ask me.
I
don't know who wrote that, but the age thing's got to go.
I just want to know more so about how you got into networking with so many different people.
So many different
And
companies.
yeah, because the marketing side of everything that you've done is vital to, because you totally changed the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you changed the game for women, you changed the game for young people. Like
Oh,
you said,
people,
there's no age
no
limit.
age
All
limit to
yeah,
this industry,
no age
this
limit.
sport.
So how did you get more so into your networking with a bunch of different people?
Add, subtracting, and multiplying. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to make money so I could take care of my family, my mother, which I have done. And things have been a little tight here lately for all of us, but I could see a future if we don't stand up and work hard, especially for America and what we believe in. We're going to be lost. It's just a very hard time in our lives right now, no matter what age you are. I know my older friends are so upset with what's going on government-wise, but we need to get manufacturing back in America. We need to take care of our country and our people and get our pride back. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, build it with pride. You know, like we always have built things. I mean, you look around the museum, you see all these fabulous cars. This is all pride and love in here.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to realize, what we've done and what we can do for the future.
Yeah.
So I think hard work, it don't matter what color you are, black, white, yellow, Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Tagalog-speaking, Argentina. I've been all over the world. They love American cars. You keep your pride and keep building quality. It's quality, not necessarily quantity, but quality works. Quality in your food you raise, quality in what you wear, quality in what you build, safety. I think the world needs to stop and see where they came from and where they're going. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I really do.
I agree.
The program that the muscle cars, we've got muscle cars back in America now. You guys, I wish I was younger. I mean, I'd have one of each so I could go out there and see which one I could be. But no, I just think you got to keep your pride.
Yeah.
Keep your faith, keep your pride. And learn. I'd go back to school now if I could. I'd love to go back to college. Could y'all see me going to college? I'd bring the teacher an apple. Then I'd threaten him to drag race him. Him or her.
You can't beat me.
There's no the age limit, and there's no limit in love. And if you love
Right.
something, you have pride in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I do the best I can. You know, of course, I wish I had more money, but I don't. But I save things, and I'm a pack rat. I keep everything. But it's my pride. I can't help
Yeah.
myself. Thank
Yeah.
God I had these cars, because it's been some hard years the past few years. And I've been
Yeah.
sick, so my friends have really helped me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you have such a love for the sport that I think there isn't a lot of nowadays. Would you say that? Like, how would you describe?
Awful lot of rude people out there now. But stop and think. Where are they from? Where did they come from? What are they doing? If they don't love themselves, how can they love their cars and others? You know, I just think that. I think Mr. Bruce could probably address that much nicer than me here and Rayanne, but I think you keep the quality and love yourself and love others and keep your faith and your pride. That's where I'm coming from. I can't wait to get back to SEMA. SEMA has no age limit. We have a scholarship fund. You got Roy Hill School of Driving that teaches these muscle cars.
Yeah.
And you got the Jim Russell School of Driving. You got the Vondraet School of Driving. There's all kinds of programs. And why don't they put shop back in classes? I love shop. I loved it. I
Yeah.
even built a coffee table I still have.
Oh, that's awesome.
But most of all, I liked working on the cars.
Yeah, there you go. So kind of steering away a little bit more about your personal self. I heard that. No, I heard you were in some movies.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about those. How did you like being in them? Like,
Well, I love Burt Reynolds. He and I worked
Okay.
together.
Okay.
We worked together right up till the end. He and I worked together a month before we lost him. Hal Needham, the director, Bob Ottom did a great book, and Sports Illustrated did a wonderful story on me. So those things are a lot of pride for that. I just treated them like anybody else. I mean, everybody eats, sleeps, drinks, and go to the bathroom the same way.
Right.
I treated Paul Newman just like I would the boy next door. I just loved him. I loved Garner. But we're all people, you know, so I didn't look at it like a swoon that way. I just treated them as normal human beings, and we got along great. I mean, I had more movie star friends to shake a stick at, but and rock and rollers and the Rolling Stones and all kinds of folks. But I was blessed by getting to know these kind of people. Yeah, never went to my head. If the Stones don't come in and get back to California, I'm gonna be mad. But we stayed in touch. I took them to the races. Little Al Unser says, "Who you got with you?" And I go, "I got Ron Woods from the Rolling Stone." We stood him on the starting line. They started the cars. He did a 360 and
Oh,
hit
my goodness.
Little Al and those guys. They went all over the place. We went to Toronto to the race, and then we had the Stones out there on the starting line. Mick Jagger says, "They're louder than my guitar."
With his accent.
Yeah, it was great. I had on a pair of wild cowboy boots, and he walked in. He goes, "Oh, darling, where'd you get those boots?" You know. But those are things that were fun, and I took them to the races, and they loved it. Here comes the Beatles. The Beatles came. So I'm telling my age again. But it's music to your ears. I mean, you hear all those cars start up at the Indy 500s.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Coach hills go all over you.
What was your favorite race that you've ever been to? This one.
Here in
It's
Daytona,
obvious.
but it's like you asked me what my favorite type of racing is.
Yeah.
In May, I'm at Indy. Thank God, I hope we get to go back. In February, I'm in Daytona. I love the start of the Daytona 500. Ooh, Lord, ain't nothing like it. It's the drag racing, stand on the starting line, top fuel dragsters like Leo Pritchard. And even Tony Stewart comes to the drag races now. In fact, he's been driving a dragster here lately. I said, "Hey, Tony, how does it feel going out with a girl that goes faster than you?" But it's a love. Everybody loves it. It's great. The Snake, Pernod, Bernstein,
Yeah.
Forrest. I mean, they're all characters. It's absolute a circus, but I love it. So I like good music, and I like good racing, good safe racing,
Yeah.
good fast cars.
Yeah. Good fast cars. That's awesome.
Are you going to throw those questions away and ask me what you want to?
I know, right? I'm trying. So you
Do you
had
have
a
any
really,
suggestions?
yeah. You had a really close relationship with your mom, though.
Oh, the best. She's my best
Yes.
friend in the world.
Aw, yeah, and that's awesome that you guys got her car inducted too.
Oh, I'm so proud of Bruce Smith being the survivor person for me to save Mother's car, because I'd already had it restored. I've been paying on it for a long time, and things got really bad, and he has a great love affair with, I want him to talk to us about that. Hey, y'all. I'm Linda Vaughn, Miss Hurst Shifter. I almost want to call this gentleman sitting to my left Mr. Hurst, because he owns all these beautiful Hurst Oldsmobiles and pace cars and race cars and muscle cars. But this is Mr. Bruce Smith, a collector I've known for over 30 years now, and so honored to have you here. And thank you for supporting the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. Thank you for your contribution. And I just want you to know how much I love you and appreciate you.
Linda, thank you, and I love you, and
Thank you.
we got a long ways to go yet, baby.
I'm waiting. I'm still single. What got you started collecting cars?
You know, Linda, I've always had a love for cars. Back in '65, when the first Shelby came out, the GT350,
Oh, yeah.
my father's friend was a dealer and actually brought the car to the house.
Oh, my.
And, you know, I was young and I was nowhere near able to drive at that point, but I sure wanted one of those cars. And then when he left and just left in a cloud of smoke, I said, someday I'll have myself one of those Shelbys. And
That is passion, y'all.
it
That is
did-
passion
it
right
did
there.
happen.
Yeah.
And then in college or for graduation from high school, I was able to get a a 70 GTO Judge,
Oh, yes.
which I took with me and polish that every day. I mean, the passion is not only driving it, it's the passion.
It's the whole love
is getting
affair,
into the
yeah.
whole car. I mean, you didn't go out unless you took a toothbrush to their white letter tires and they were sparkling white. I mean, kids today don't understand that or don't even do. They don't even wash their own cars.
They don't,
today.
they don't.
They take them
It's
to car
shameful.
washes. I mean, I would spend hours in the garage just washing and polishing my car.
That's why I'd go over and visit my boyfriend and take him some chicken so I got to drive the car. So I know that. I'd always tell the girls when I took the shop class, I said, why don't y'all pay attention to their cars? I said, you're never going to have a date if you don't. I mean, really and truly, the first love affair I had was with that 57 Chevrolet. And I understand passion. I didn't know. The whole change come over me. I think I grew up when I saw that car, but I can understand.
Yeah.
And both of your first vehicles had Hurst shifters in them.
Yes, they did.
Yes, sir. It sure
Yes,
was.
they did. And then the 72 came out, and boy, I wanted one in the worst way. And, you know, the parents obviously ruled the roost, and they says, no, you got what you got, and that's fine for now. And so then the 73 came out, and I just said, and I went ahead, went around their back, went with my grandmother to the
Grandma.
Cadillac Oldsmobile dealer, and she bought a new Cadillac, and I says, Grandma, put $100 down, because at that time you couldn't order a Hurst Oldsmobile. Whatever the dealer was allocated is what you got. You
That's
didn't order
right.
it. And it was a $100 deposit, which she gladly put down, and took like 5 months, and the car came in June of 73. June of 73, the car came in. So, and just to give you an idea what the cost was, her new Cadillac was like $6,200. The new Hurst Oldsmobile was $5,500. So in retrospect, it was a very expensive car back then.
Oh, yeah, back then it was.
So,
yeah.
and I had to pay that off every week. I'd have to send my grandparents money to pay her for the car, which,
I know that
and I still have the car
experience.
today.
Yeah. Well, he has the 70, has the 72, the 73. We just got the 74. And I got the 75 at home in my garage. Just thought I'd let you know that. That's the last year that we built the big block 455s.
Yes, it was.
And I have never put my cars through a car wash. I wash them myself. Of course, the neighbors used to love it when I'd get out in my bikini and wash my cars. But now they're all too old and they're gone, so. And I don't wash it in my bikini anymore. But it is a love affair. It's passion. Look at the passion that's in this room. Look at the passion. I keep saying to everybody listening, look into what you want. Work hard and put pride into it. And it doesn't have an age limit. You have to wait like you did. My first car, I had to pay a little bit down, and I paid it a little bit each month until I got it. And that's how I bought my first car. Yep, it is. But we came up the hard way, and we earned it, and we worked hard for it. So you're going to take care of it. You're going to be safe, and you're not going to run it through the bushes. I'm not.
Okay, so if you guys could just tell us like a little bit about the Hurst car and then your mom's car that just got inducted, and just go into a little bit about what makes them so special and everything, how you guys feel about them and what makes them so iconic.
Very good question. Mr. Bruce, what do you think? I mean, you're a great collector and a great driver. Why did you buy these cars?
Oldsmobile was always my passion. And then it was the Hurst Oldsmobile, you know, so limited and so special, you know, it's just something you had to have. And then loving the Indy 500 year after year after year, and it came out with the pace car, that was,
Were you hooked?
I was hooked. I was hooked. And then there was Linda. And,
I did it.
And Linda did it.
Yeah.
So, coming and meeting Linda for the first time in 1974, for a brief time, it was from then on. It was year after year. I would, you know, not physically get close to her, but I'd see her every year at Indy 500, and it just became another big passion. And it just Hurst and Hurst Oldsmobile, and always, you know,
The car is such a quality car. And you're a great collector. I want to ask you a question. The 74 pace car, he's got that now. The weather permit, we get that organized, but
Linda's touring car that she drove everywhere to different events, all the races, and
yeah. And it was another collector's car called the 74 Hurst Olds, and we got it from Mr. Tom Pope. And we got it out in time to save it because his house got hit by the hurricane in Louisiana. I would have lost it. So thank you so much for saving it. I want to cry again because I have such love for these cars. Tell us about your other cars.
Well, I'm a little car collector of different manufacturers. My second favorite would be the Shelbys, obviously.
Yay!
So, being a good friend of the Shelby family, the current president, and obviously not meeting Cleo in person, but
But you will because she inquired about those flowers. It was our birthday. Bruce sent us both the most beautiful bouquets, and I surprised her and me, and I cooked dinner, and we celebrated our birthdays that night. And I took pictures of all the flowers with Cleo Shelby, and she always asks about you. So when we go back to Vegas, hopefully we'll get to have lunch or dinner with her and spend some. You met the daughter.
yeah.
But he was the fastest and the quickest out there on that racetrack. I was impressed. He don't drive that fast with me, though. But can I borrow the car? No. Tell us about your 79. Did you want to tell us about the 79?
Linda had her 79 at a show, and she was thinking about selling it. And Linda and I spoke, and I decided, you know what, that would be a great car to have. And well, after I was in the process of purchasing the car, we met George here at the museum, and I thought, what a perfect idea to put the 79 in the museum as a tribute to Linda and as a signature car, to have all the inductees, as they get inducted into the Hall of Fame, have them sign this car.
Yeah.
So you figure year after year of having famous people sign the car will be at one point, you know, you couldn't put a price on it, and it'll be here for, you know, be everlasting. So I
Thank you
felt,
for your contribution. I love you for that.
what a perfect way to remember Hurst and to remember Linda Vaughn, who is, you know, we all say she's the First Lady of Motorsports. I don't know of anybody else that could ever be second. I mean, just go through her career, her time, the people she met. I mean, she tells me the story of Joe Namath taking her out in the Pontiac and wrecking the car. And, what a date that was, I can well imagine.
Well, I thought I'd get fired with George Hurst since we got more where that came from. He goes, "I'll get me 2 tickets to the Super Bowl."
I mean, every day it's a different story of a different person. The USO tour with Bob Hope.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just nobody that I don't know of that she doesn't know or hasn't met. It's just unbelievable. Her career is just unbelievable.
And I'm not through yet.
No, you're
I'm
obviously
getting up
not
there in
through yet.
age, but I have to be careful with my heart situation. I haven't been feeling really well. Thank you for putting up with me.
Well, take it
But
slow.
thank you so much for being a part of our industry and our sport. And I got to get you to SEMA because you haven't been there yet. But
No.
what do you think about the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America?
Listen, this is a great venue. It's a shame. People need to find out more about it.
Yes,
It
they
really
do.
needs to get out there more. There's so many different things to the place that you just don't realize, and you can't see it all at one time. I mean, you have to really take it in and really spend time. You know, you have to be here a few times. I've been here over a few times already, and I'm still just amazed at the different things that I missed the last time I was here.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. And, you know, I think the youth market has no age limit, like we're saying. I mean, you got young teenage, well, he's going to be a teenager before long.
I got a
grandson.
12-year-old that wants the car the worst way. He's ready to drive.
So I think if we get recognition in the schools, but you know, like today, we rained out down here. This should be packed every 6 foot with people because they don't know we're open. They don't know. We've got to get the word out there. We've got to get to the schools. We've got to get to the hotels, the restaurants, especially the hangouts for the young people, and let's let them know. I mean, look at the people sitting down here in their cars. They don't know they can come over here. Maybe run a tram or something and advertise on radio and television. It should be blasted. They got these big trucks now. We used it last year for Donnie and Bobby Allison's birthday, and I put a great big sign on it, and they followed it out here, and we ran it up and down the street to let them know it was their birthday. We had a great audience, but at least we got it out there. and it was packed. Yeah, it was. I think we need to do more to get y'all to know what's over here. You got to come to see the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. It's great. Everything's in here.
Yes, it is.
Everything. Okay, next question.
You know what, let me just, the one question was asked earlier about how Linda got involved and how she got respect in the industry. Linda's not only a pretty face, 'cause damn, she's got that, but she has the knowledge. She knows. You ask a question about a car, she's got an answer. You know, she'll tell you what part you need, or she'll tell you where to get it, or how to get it, or what it does and what it doesn't do. You tell me somebody else that has that knowledge, that's few and far between, and that's how she's gained her respect in this industry.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you. And I've worked with all the big four, and it was really great because George Hurst could not quite understand how I got into the Ford shifter. I knew Shelby and I know the family, but I said, George, we've got a product that we can get into all American muscle cars. Let me run with it. And he did. He really did. He used to say, fix and race it. I said, no, it's first on race day. I said, because Ford's going to be winning. I went to Holman and Moody. I went to the people, the builders, and we proved our product. And that's what we're going to have to do again. We need that. And this industry, the SEMA proved, shows it. And I think, like Mr. Peterson up here, God bless his soul, he had all the magazines, Robert E. Peterson, and now we have an auditorium named after him. He's dedicated so much, and although his passing, now Gigi Carlson, now Mrs. Schubeck, carries it on with the scholarship fund, and we're continuously trying to get everybody involved. And when we have the workouts at the SEMA show, I can't wait for you to see the great SEMA show, how they prove the product. If you go in, you can see the product, you can see it work. They even have pit stop competition. They have all these things. Everybody involved in the industry and sport is at SEMA. Pray that we get it back open. Pray everybody gets well. We get to come back and put America back on the map, so to speak. What else you got to say, big boy? Can I show them your jacket? Marketing. The ladies, you know, George Hurst would ask me to pick out a color because a lot of men are colorblind. I didn't know that until I started working there. And I'd go to the art department and we'd go through colors and designs. But then we'd come out with jackets. I'd like to see your jacket. I want one of these jackets. But it's marketing. And everywhere you go, it's a marketing product. It really is.
stand up and turn around.
All right, there. Well, look at that. I want one, don't we? It's just like running around with race rock on. There's no age limit to racing and rocking, so, you know, and music. I brought Chris Isaac to one of the races, and he's a fabulous guitarist. Neil Diamond sang for us at Indy. We tied it together with the music world, and now they're big sponsors at Indy, yeah. And I hope we get to come back and have our concerts and stuff. I miss it. But the most important thing is wear your mask, take care of folks, be safe, and stay 6 foot apart. I'd like a hug, but I can't have one.
Okay, so welcome to the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. Once again, I am Bella Martin, and this is Linda Vaughn's assistant, Rayanne. And I just wanted to know how you would encourage the youth of today to get involved in motorsports.
First, I would say start young. Start young and make it exciting. From something as simple as a bicycle, a BMX bike in your local BMX track where they have to pedal up and down the hills and learn the mechanics right off the bat. And then they can progress from there. We were at an event yesterday where there was a kid racing at 9 years old, and he started at 4 in karts. So anything from a go-kart to a bicycle to a little car they can work on. There are all kinds of educational building products out there to get them started on engines. And then from there, your local schools with shop classes and BOCES classes and the local racetracks. Bring them to the local racetracks and let them walk around, even just a dirt track, to see what a car, and the sound. There's nothing like the sound and the smell and the excitement of the crowd, you know, cheering on a winning racer that gets a child that dream, that spark in their eye to say, I want to do that, you know. And then If you're a marketing person in your local community, see if you can get your local auto zones and muffler shops and transmission shops and your local businesses involved in sponsoring scholarships for your schools to send the kids to these IT tech schools and these bigger schools to learn how to build racing engines. Heck, my son started in a junkyard, pulling parts out of a junkyard and selling them locally. And that helped him to know the parts of a car and how to put one together and how to take it apart and how to make it run faster for himself. And from there, we went to a BOCES class, and then we went to a mechanical school and just worked our way up. And now he owns his own transmission shop. So I think your local racetracks are your biggest ingenuitives to spark that dream. And hopefully build someday where you're in a Motorsports Hall of Fame and getting to show off your own product. Linda Vaughn has taken me under her wing about quite a while ago, and I've learned so much through the business. And just watching the kids get excited is what excites me. And I really think we need to appeal to the youth to keep it driven, keep it going, you know, going into that fast lane, watching the confetti and shaking that champagne bottle when you're old enough to get everybody wet and sticky, you know. So it really, and you meet so many people, even at the lower level. I can remember when I was a kid, she was my idol. Miss Vaughn was my idol. So I've gotten to work with my mentor and my idol, and there's nothing more gratifying. Yeah, I would say just as a parent, it's great quality time with your child. And it's, I think every girl should know how to check an oil dipstick, change a tire.
At least, right? At least.
At least you won't get stranded in the middle of the night somewhere. It's a safety issue. And again, there are safety programs with the schools that you can join. There's a brakes program out there. Be responsible at keeping everyone safe. That gives them a road course to learn not to skid out of control and so forth. So I think it's getting involved very early and getting involved on a local level.
Yeah.
And then working your way up from there. And I think you'll meet the right people through getting involved very early and on a local level.
Yeah.
And I was selling 50-50 tickets at a local dirt track at 12 years old. So,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
and that just always made me want to work in motorsports and have my first car.
Yeah.
My first car was a Pinto.
Well, that's really good advice for all of the
Yes.
young people, how to get involved and everything like that. And I think something that you said that really stuck with me was sparking that dream in kids, just like the Spark program and everything that they're aiming for. But yeah, so once again, my name is Bella Martin, and to close this out, I had Linda Vaughn's assistant, Ryan, to help us out with a little bit of encouragement for all the young people, and we hope to see more of you guys around the Motorsport Hall of Fame.